All right, everyone, overview of testing method in PCI DSS. So we have PCI DSS testing method describe the activities that an assessor must perform to verify whether an entity has met a specific PCI DSS requirement, right? And as you all know, do you guys see, if you realize when we went through NIST, we talk of examine, interview, and testing, but you see examine, observation, and interviewing. And we're going to understand this is PCI DSS methodology and actually assessing controls. So the goal to help both the assessor and the assess entity have a common understanding of how compliance will be validated, right? And we just mentioned the methodologies or the methods. So let's go for them. First, but when you talk of examine, what does it mean? It says that the assessor evaluate data evidence to determine if the entity has met PCI DSS requirement. For example, you have document, both physical and electronic, right? You observed. Screenshot showing configuration settings. Remember when we were talking about firewalls, routers, switches, and all those things? When you start requesting this configuration setting, then you're going to observe. You're going to examine, and that's it. Maybe you go there, like, let me see. They take it. That's the examine aspect. Configuration file that demonstrates security setting. Examine, right? Audit logs that track, remember you are examining. Data files that support compliance. For example, assessing firewall configurations. The assessor will examine the configuration file of the firewall to confirm that it meets the requirements of network security, right? And this as example of things that we've mentioned. For example, documentation, both physical and electronic, screenshots showing configuration of settings, configuration files that demonstrate system setting and all the like, right? So that literally explained. Do you see firewall configuration setting? You allowed, you denied, you block, or how you want to do it, right? Then when they talk of observation, what does it mean? The assessor watches an action or views something in the environment to confirm compliance. When you are talking about or maybe unsuccessful login, I would be there, I'll tell you, do it. I am watching you performing that action, right? And that's why I talk of observation. Personnel performing tasks or following processes, e.g., password reset, using login activities. If you want to reset a password, I'll be there to see. Let me see, right? Or better still, environmental conditions such as environmental conditions such as environmental conditions such as secure physical access controls, right? Physical access control, physical controls such as security cameras allow, you can definitely observe, check all, the time span and all those things. Of observing personnel, for example, the assessor watches how an employee logs into the system to verify if the correct authentication processes is followed. Do you see? Yep. And interviewing, what does it mean? Assessor converses with personnel to understand the process and confirm compliance. When you read their policies, then you definitely have questions that you're going to ask, right? Confirming whether an activity is being performed as required by PCI DSS, understanding how an activity is carried out and whether it aligns with PCI DSS, assess personnel knowledge such as whether employee knows their role in maintaining compliance, and interviewing system administrators to ensure they know how to implement password policies and confirm that the policy aligns with PCI DSS standards. But how testing methods, how all of this work together, let's combine. Each of these testing methods provide a different viewpoint on compliance, ensuring comprehensive assessment of the entity adherence to PCI DSS. Examine a server configuration file to verify security settings, right? Observe the system in action, ensuring that security measures, e.g. firewalls, antiviruses, are effectively functioning. Interview personnel to confirm they understand and follow the security processes involved in daily operations, right? And after that, documenting the result of the testing, right? So after performing each testing activity, the assessor documents the result. When you come now with your findings, did it pass or did it fail? Are you going to create a gaps? Even after once you've uploaded this document, you review it, you interview, you create a gaps if you feel like more information is requested, and then resubmit it back to the assessor. I'm saying so because this is something that our students are going to be doing in a live environment using a GRC tool. So work testing activities were performed, the outcome of each activity, compliance or non-compliance. For example, if the assessor examines logs and finds that vulnerabilities can have performed quarterly as required, they document this as compliant. If the interview reveals that employees do not understand the required procedure for handling cardholder data, the assessor may note that this is not compliant. So the fact that we have three methods of assessing, if I interview you guys and I realize you do not even understand, even if that control is there, but your lack of understanding still warrant me to fail that control. And that's why you need to blend these three, depending on the controls, once you're able to satisfy all conditions, then you can validate that control as compliance or not, right? And this is exactly what we have been discussing, guys. And what is our takeaway? It says that examine, observe, and interview are the three core testing methods used to verify compliance with PCI DSS. Each method provides a unique way of assessing whether the entity has implemented the necessary controls and processes. The assessor documents the testing activities and their results, providing a clear record of whether each requirement has been met. This testing method helps ensure that PCI DSS compliance is thoroughly verified and that both the entity and the assessor have a clear understanding of the report. And that brings us to the end of that video. And we are approaching again, it reminds us like a 170 more slide for us to cover this, or 13 more slide, 17 more slide for us to cover this. And then I believe you guys, this is a lot of information, right? And then if you really want to continue your PCI DSS training, then you can come to our website and then you'll benefit because I'm going to be uploading a lot of training there. And this will give you a good holistic or comprehensive training as far as PCI DSS is concerned.